Bam. Do you stay in touch with a lot of your family members?
I only stay in touch with the 3 half brothers and sisters that I was the closest with. We kind of grew up together. To your point about chaos and how I ended up with my uncle. My dad, one day I was living with my dad, one of his prostitutes, and 3 of my half brothers and sisters. And my dad comes home one day and he says, "Hey, I'm going to England." He just breaks out. He leaves. And he leaves me with the prostitute. And this prostitute's a horrific heroin addict, horrible. And one Sunday afternoon, she leaves and she says, "I'll be back. I'm going to get a pack of cigarettes." Man, I'll spare you the details, Jason, but she was gone for 3 weeks. It was February in Dayton, Ohio. I was supposed to be in school, but I made a commitment and a promise. I was like, okay, I'm not going to leave my brothers and sisters. But on a few occasions, several times within that 3 weeks, I had to leave my 4-year-old half sister. She was the oldest, to babysit the 3-year-old, the 2-year-old, so I could go down to the store and steal food. And man, it used to stress me out that I would think, man, if I get caught down here and I get arrested, my brothers and sisters are at the house, what's going to happen?
Wow.
And for 3 weeks, man, Jason, I have never to this day, you and I are both in business, so we know what it's like to, I need to close this deal. I need to make payroll. I need to scale the company. Man, to this day, I'm 49 years old now. I have never felt a greater stress than every hour wondering if they were going to disconnect the water or their electricity in February in Dayton, Ohio, wondering, are we going to freeze to death? Are we not going to have any water to drink, not be able to flush the toilet or take a bath? And so I had figured out the food thing. I'd go down and steal and I come back, but my little brother was 2 and he was still in diapers. And I'm like, man, I can't steal diapers. So I potty trained him, man. I sat him on the toilet one day and he's crying. I'm crying. And
how old are you, by the way? How old are you during this?
12. I was 12 years old.
Okay. Wow.
And so I set him down and I look at him, Jason, and I look at him and I say, "Hey, man, until something comes out, this is how it's going down." And so you have 4 kids. I got 4 kids now. I didn't potty train my kids that way, but at the time I was 12 years old. I didn't know what to do.
Right.
So that's how I potty trained them. And fast forward, the prostitute came back after 3 weeks. My brothers and sisters were happy to see her. That's their mom. Wasn't my mom, though. And I looked at her and I said, "Where the F have you been?" And she beat the hell out of me, man. My ears started bleeding. She kicked me. She punched me. I ran away. And I got brought back to the house, and the second beating was worse than the first. By the grace of God, man, one of my dad's brothers, my uncle, picked me up, took me to another one of my dad's girlfriend's house, and I stayed with her. And the first week was good, but Friday evening came around, and her boys went with their father. I stayed with her. This woman was a bad alcoholic. She started beating me. I'm tired of getting beat at this point, man. So I fight back. I hit her. I kick her. She calls the police. I get arrested and I go to juvenile. Now, hold on, Jason. Here's the whole catch of all of this. My mother was in Texas and didn't know where I was. My father's in England and literally only God knew where he was. I'm in juvenile and no one knew I was there.
Oh my goodness.
And I was stuck there for almost 3 months, man.
Wow.
And that's how I ended up with my Uncle Bobby for about 15, 18 months. And then after that, at age 15, I got reunited with my mother in Texas.
And I read that he was kind of a role model, kind of led you on to kind of get on the right path. You want to explain that a little bit?
Man, my Uncle Bobby, for a boy especially, he got me at a very critical time. I was 13 years old and I had never had any structure, any discipline, any routine. And my Uncle Bobby was all of those things. And I got to share my favorite story with you. My Uncle Bobby taught me punctuality. He taught me respect. He taught me about God. He taught me about discipline, following through, give your word, you keep your word. He taught me all of these things in like a 15-month time frame. Here's my favorite story, and this will tell you everything you need to know about Uncle Bobby. You got to listen to this, Jason. So my Uncle Bobby, we're going on church vacation one year. First of all, I had never been on vacation, so I didn't even know what that was. But my Uncle Bobby Friday night says, "Hey, tomorrow morning, we're leaving at 10 a.m. sharp." And if my Uncle Bobby said something, you follow through. He never yelled, never raised his voice. He said, "We're leaving at 10 a.m. So the next day, it's about 9:30, and my aunt and my 4 cousins My aunt says, hey, Bobby, I'm going to run up to the store and get those cashews that you like. And my Uncle Bobby said, no, you forgot something. Don't blame that on me. And he goes, I'm leaving at 10 o'clock. Fast forward, man, it's about 5 till 10. And I said, hey, Uncle Bobby, I'm going to run upstairs and get my football. And he says, son, I know what you're doing. I'm leaving at 10 o'clock. I come back downstairs. I run to the end of the driveway. I look for my aunt. My Uncle Bobby says, let's go. He shuts the doors to the van. We get in. He starts the car. Jayson, we leave my aunt and 4 cousins on family church vacation. How godly is that?
Oh, my goodness. Left them there because they weren't ready at 10 o'clock.
They weren't ready at 10 o'clock. And we left, man. And we took off. And this is back in like early 80s. So there's no cell phones and communication tools back then.
Oh, my goodness.
So we leave. And I quickly forget about my aunt and cousins because I'm like, hey, Uncle Bobby's got the money. This is great. I've never been on vacation. We get to our destination. Lo and behold, who shows up about 4 hours later? My aunt and my cousins. My aunt walks in the hotel room. She gets in my Uncle Bobby's face, man, and she goes to town. And he stands there stone faced. And she's just, Bobby, da 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 da. I can't believe da 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 da. And she goes on 5 minutes. She finishes, and he looks at her and he says, are you finished? And she goes, yes. And calmly, Jayson, he said, I said 10 o'clock. and that was the moment I was like,
wow.
Oh, shit.
That's gangster right there. Time. Like, that's it.
Yes.
That's it.
I said 10 o'clock. And for that right there, in that moment, 13 years old, punctuality became the key for me.
That became real right there.
It became really real. Yeah. And I share this with everybody. I said, look, if you're going on your first job interview or any job interview, get there 30 minutes early. I've never met a person that missed an opportunity or got fired for being 30 minutes early. But I know a ton of people who have lost an opportunity or been fired for being 2 minutes late.
Yeah, that's a true statement right there. You're absolutely right. And dude, I'm trying to imagine seeing that. That's gangster. I got to do a better job on my kids. Like, guys, like we're leaving to Disney now, or that's it.
Now,
my wife carries a big pimp hand. That would be hard for me, but I can totally see how that at 13 years old can become reality for you. Like this is how this works. And that's a good dude to learn from. So quickly after that, where did you move after that?
Oh man. Okay. So Jayson, you might kick me off your show after this, but I'm going to ask you something kindly, if you could do for me. Never again say pimp hand.
Okay.
You got to remember, man, I was raised by a pimp. I've watched the back of a pimp's hand go across the face of a woman. And it's funny, man, because our society somewhere went left. And, back in the day, a pimp, my father put women on a corner, and he took every dollar, and it didn't matter. If you didn't have his money, you got the back of the pimp hand. And it's funny because now so many people will say, pimp my ride, pimp my apartment. And we lost track of what that word really means. And having grown up, seeing the back of a pimp's hand, it strikes a different chord with me. And so, yeah, I had to throw that out.
No. And my apologies. I probably shouldn't have said that at all. So you're right. I'm one of those that really probably have used the word the wrong way in time. So thank you for keeping it real with me on that.
I had to, man. So you asked me, when did I end up back with my mom? Man, I got with my mom when I was 15 years old. We got reunited in Texas. And I'll tell you the story, man. I reunited with her. She took me to school, and they put me in these classes. The counselor says, you're going to be in this, 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 and this. And then she said geometry. Jayson, I had never heard the word geometry before. So 6 weeks rolls around. I get my report card. I've got all D's and F's. They figure out, okay, this kid's not too bright. And my mother has me tested, and I'm testing on a 5th and 6th grade level, man. To this day, I don't hold a pencil the right way. I read slow as hell. Can't tell you an adverb from an adjective, but hey, I'm a CEO of a publishing company.
That's right, baby.
It's right. So, but what was interesting, man, I never graduated. Graduation rolled around. I didn't have enough credits. I had to go to summer school, got my GED. Now it says high school diploma on there. So damn it, I got a high school diploma, but make no mistake, I got my GED. But yeah, I never let my circumstances define who I am. I just refuse to be a victim. I can't change who my father was. I can't change the circumstances I was born into, but I can change the next day, the next week, the next hour. Damn.